everybody, I'm Nick in the States, and today we're going to talk about a really cool new amp from Vox called the AV30. And unlike the Valvetronic series, which is a modeling amp, and unlike the AC series, like your AC30s and 15s, which are all to be wonderful, this is sort of in between. It's a solid-state power section with a little AX7 tube pre, like most amps have these days in the tube range, and then a 12AX7 little power amp. So basically what happens is it comes out like a half a watt amp, and then solid state takes it the rest of the way, and in this case to 30 watts. Now, what it has taken that, what allows it to do is give you like tube breakup, that nice warm, beautiful kind of wonderful little tube breakup there out of something that's still a bit solid state. What they've also done though is added in 8 really cool circuits for clean, and they're real circuitry. They're not digital monitoring. It's not going into a computer. It's spitting out something that should sound like a Marshall or an SLO or a 5150 or whatnot. So and what this has done is it's done some really cool things through the clean side all the way to dirty, and there's 8 of them. And they're all super, super usable. So what we're going to do is listen to both a Strat style guitar, which is this Harley Benton with GFS pickups in it. They're a really nice Alnico, very representative of what a Strat can do. And then we'll hear the same, another clip looped, played from a Les Paul style guitar, which is this Michael Kelly Patriot Instinct. So that way you get both of those kind of tones as I sweep through. What I'll also do is I'll start with it kind of gain about midway through, and all the knobs kind of straight up and down. And then the second progression, I'll kind of bring the gain up huge and then roll all the way back down low. So you get a good idea, at least as well as you can over YouTube, of the sweep of tones available in the AV30 amp. And then at the end of that section, we will talk a little bit more about some of the additional features and awesomeness. But let's get to some tones, shall we? I'm using actually a TC Electronic Ditto looper, the simple kind of MIDI form factor one, to run those loops through, just if you're curious there. Close mic'd with an SM57 up and close, and then an M Audio Nova kind of pull back a little bit to kind of give you that 2 types of mic tone. Direct into GarageBand for the audio stuff, and then my voice is coming through my cool little Zoom camera. So we also haven't touched on is the built-in effects. So this has built-in reverb, delay, and like a chorus function mod. And the chorus is actually pretty subtle, which is cool. So here I'll go through that same loop and kind of give you an idea of what each of them sound like individually, kind of the sweeps of each of them, and then all of them on together, which actually sounds great. Without putting out a couple more little features. It does have an effects send and return loop, and it does also have an external speaker cab that'll do 4, 8, and 16 ohms, and gives you like a relative wattage necessary at each of those on the back. The final thing, and it's not easy to demo here, is a bright switch, which definitely on a Les Paul gives you a little more jangle to it. It has a fat switch, which is nice for adding bottom end to like a Strat guitar. It's also nice from going from like practice tones to living room tones, because it kind of fills out just the audio spectrum a little bit more, sounds warmer and butterier. And there's a ding in the background. I have a mail from the Stratosphere. Ooh. The last two are kind of a bias mode, so A versus AB. It's really hard to tell unless you have it cranked. And the final one that is there is a reactor, which seems to make everything just hairier. So my overall thoughts on this amp is, wow. I will admit that I saw this at NAMM, or I saw this with a NAMM coverage of some of the wonderful fellow YouTubers who do such a great job of showing all the neat stuff at NAMM, like Henning and Rob and those guys, and Pixie Licks and Tone King again, because I think he put up most videos, and Robert Baker and all the other guys that we love. Rob Chapman and Lee Anderton over at Anderton's put up their video for it. I think I was about 6 minutes into their video where I went trolling on Reverb and picked up this guy. They're about $329 US, and they're awesome. I really love it. I was looking for an amp I'm in my living room versus a family room where we have like my rest of my amps in my little corner where I do most of my videos, and I wanted to do the video from here because this is where I play this amp. I discovered that having all of my amps in the same room as all of my family meant I didn't get to really play as much, but I realized there's no TV in this room, so I can hide out in here, play this, and at my fingertips is pretty much everything I need and want to do from a practice and play, pick up a guitar and just kind of go. I could not be more happy. I think a lot of the tones are spot on, I've never played an SLO. I have played a 5150 though, and it does those kind of Van Halen-y, squealy, cool stuff to it. The Marshall tones are evil, but I really like the Vox Top Boost tone, the Vox regular one, and the second, I think the Fender Blackface clean, because you can still push them hairier even than a real Blackface can get with the gain. So it just gives me a lot of stuff under my fingertips, especially when I'm trying to write something or I'm working on a little riff that I want to get somewhere with. It's inspiring. It's inspiring. That's the point. That's the word I'm trying to get to. It's an amp that if I play through it, it's quite inspiring, and it sounds good at room levels, better than a lot of my tube amps do when you turn them down, not to piss off the wife and or the neighbors. So it really it just comes to life. And it's got a bunch that I think I could play with this over a drummer. It would be pushing it, maybe with a bigger cab. But it's a killer little amp that for the price, it's great. I know the Valvetronics series is really, from a modeling perspective, really well regarded as being, especially the latest iteration, people seem to very much be liking a ton. But for those of us who are getting up in age, which I'm scaring myself here, who just want to turn knobs and play and not have to load anything or USB anything or whatever, this is a very massively capable amp for people that want just a real analog feel for how they control the amp, how it works, the interface for the effects that are on it, just the effects I say loosely, but the reverb, delay, and chorus, super simple. And that's what we want. I want to play. I want to get in there and not have the amp get in my way. So this thing is awesome. I want to get a bigger play demo set up kind of back and forth with either Danny or Tim coming up soon, but I wanted to get mine out and just say, super cool. Check them out. Check out Anderton's TV for their review too, because it's fantastic. And with that, I've been Nick in the States, and obviously, yes, folks, I have issues. Take care.